What's up, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of Adeek Shoft, best podcast in the universe, inshallah. In this episode, I sat down with the one, the only co-founder of Elves App, the app that can let you do anything and does everything for you. You'll find out why. Abeer Elsisi. I had the privilege of sitting down with her, really get into a great talk about entrepreneurship. There's a lot of advice, a lot of gems in there, so tune in, and I hope you enjoy. And if you guys like this, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and it really helps. And tune in next week. I'll be uploading every single Thursday with a brand new episode, and you can find me on Instagram. You can find me in there. So without further ado, present to you episode 2 of Adeek Shoft. And again, guys, welcome to the second episode of Adeek Shoft, the best podcast in the Middle East, inshallah. And we interview people. I interview people when I talk about we, it's me, myself, and I, because I'm lonely, and 3 is better than 1. Adeek Shoft, the only show that's not a show. It's where I talk to people to release my pain, I guess. I don't know.
Awesome.
I don't know. Life is hard, and I want to talk to people because that's what comedians do. We talk to people, whether it's on stage or in a studio, in a jail cell studio. I'm not trashing the place. I'm just joking. I love this place. Shout out to Shofian Studio. Shofian, I don't even oatmeal studio. Isn't that what Shofian means?
No, it's just showing, isn't it?
Shofian, yeah. I don't know what that means. So yeah.
It's actually a little tiny beautiful city in Morocco.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. And it's actually all made in blue because they believe in...
That's the blue city?
That's the blue city. They believe in Hasad and they want to make it blue. So
let's start. That's a very good start. Very good point that you said about the Hasad, because my mom believed in Hasad.
Okay.
Allah, she's... yeah, she would always like bless us. She'd be like, hey!
I think all moms do that at this point.
Do you do that? Do you do that?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
No.
So again, guys, welcome to the second episode of Adeek Shoft. And I'm only on 2 hours of sleep, and this is the only show where I get to interview people that I actually intrigue me, and they want to intrigue other people, I guess, because they're very accomplished in their fields. We only choose the best of the best of the best.
Awesome.
And here with us today in the studio, guys, is the one, the only co-founder of Elves, the only application that helps you get on with your life much easier. It's a little elf. It's a helping hand mixed between AI. And this is my research, by the way. It's off the top.
That's good.
Yeah. It's a mix, guys, between AI and humans, because the fuse has to happen sometime. And they already did it with Facebook. Zaman, they launched in Egypt, and now they're expanding into the rest of the world, into America. And we have the co-founder. I am here blessed by her presence. You guys can't feel the taka igabeya here, but I feel it, and it's crazy, guys, and I love it, okay, and I'm all about it. So today we're going to interview her because she has to go in like 20 minutes, and we're already late, because important people, guys, respect time, okay? Write that down if you're listening to this. Important people, they respect their time, because time is what? Money. Finish the sentence. I don't know why, but finish the sentence, guys. Time is money. And because we got to get on with this, so we're gonna move on to the first question by introducing our guest. So, Mrs. Abeer Elsisi, nice to have you in the studio.
Thank you, Hisham.
Stop it. This one, she sharafetna, and now she's here, and we're doing it for the first time, second episode. And you're the first female guest, by the way. So,
Safak
bir nafsik.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, who is Abeer Elsisi? Tell me.
Work or outside of work?
I just want to know who you are.
I'm a co-founder of Elves, and what I do there is I'm a people person. So I started Elves with my husband, and it was very easy to choose who does what in the company. He's more into the tech aspect, is not very much a people person. So I had to do everything to do with the recruitment, the hiring, the Elves, the consumers, the customer journey, and that part. So that's pretty much me.
The customer journey. So people, when they think of an elf, they think of you. Okay, where did the name come from, by the way?
The name came from because when we first launched Elves, it was during Christmas. And we initially had the thought of elves just being gifts in the U.S. So we just wanted to have elves that deliver, Santa's little helpers delivering gifts everywhere. And that's where the name started. And it kind of stuck through. And, we changed all the verticals.
All the verticals. Wow. Okay, so for anyone that doesn't know what a vertical, who is listening
Industries.
to this, boom, there we go. Because guys, we have the entrepreneurs here. The entrepreneurs, they use entrepreneurial words like strategic and verticals.
Yes, we do.
And
it
the rest
becomes
of
so natural to just keep saying them on and on. You just forget that, it's just, it works inside, not on the outside.
So the next time you're doing a presentation to someone important, tell them, according to our verticals, we expect a 5% growth. They'll go crazy. That is cocaine for them. Guys, whoever you're pitching to, say verticals and strategic in the same sentence.
It works.
See, there we go. Founder of the Elves admits it herself. She's used it in the pitch because I don't know if you guys know this. If with Elves, you did your research like I did because I'm Teba and Nesdi because I love cheering on people. I love like being proud of people because we have to praise people for their accomplishments. عشان هنا في مصر, there's so much nafsana. I think you can agree on that. We'll get to that later. So we always have to praise people for their accomplishments. So congratulations. 10,000 مبروك because ألف مش كفاية. 10,000 مبروك. I gotta translate it. No, I gotta be real. I gotta be real with everybody here. Hey, Jake! Elves is the shit! Wow, that coffee really kicked in, didn't it? Wow, okay. People probably listen like, what is he on? Live, guys, okay? When I sit with importante people
and
coffee, they give you taka iga fucking beya. And after that, you got, this. That's the result. So it's funny that you mentioned because I know I digressed, but I know Elves, mashallah, speaking. Guys, we're going to bless her. Mashallah, guys. They got $2 million seed funding round, mashallah. And God bless them because they are helping people because they're literally little helpers. And what's that like?
What is what like?
What's that like? Like, because we as entrepreneurs, I'm a comedian. I make people laugh. So what? People are not going to give me money.
What is it like helping other people?
Oh, wow.
Is that your question?
You flipped it on me. Wow. Well, I'm the one. Whoa. People person, indeed. You are good at Karim Sahi. You married the right woman, bro. Like, wow. Okay.
It actually is a lot of fun. I mean, it's the perfect thing for people to recruit for. Yeah, so it's when we recruit elves, you need to find the right person that actually has that in them. It's not something that's like a prerequisite, like I've worked in this other company and I've done accounting for someone and then I could be an elf. But if that's the natural talent that they have and, it becomes easy for them to chat and help all the people.
So the comedian, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the comedian in me is just like imagining the job interview right now. It's like, so... I laugh on that stage before I take my jokes.
We have a very intensive interview process. They actually go through 8 people.
8 people?
8
wow.
interviews.
To just know if they
3 tests.
Wow.
IQ, EQ.
Wow.
Psychology tests. We do a lot of crazy stuff too.
Why?
Not anyone can be an elf.
There you guys.
Yeah.
You heard it live from the studio from Adeek Shoft.
Not anyone. It's not made for anyone. We're looking for characters. We're not looking for previous employers. We're looking for who you really are, what you're willing to do, and if you're made to be an elf in a startup.
Would you hire me as an elf?
I have to see a lot more. I'll have to do a lot more questions.
Well, like give me a sample question because like 8 people, like I can imagine that. Because I know Google and all these, like you guys are taking like the Silicon Valley process of like choosing people.
You got to think about it. You're giving that person that you're going to hire is going to have a huge responsibility.
Yeah,
he's accessing your users and he's chatting with them, and you've got to count on his intellect and his empathy and his resourcefulness to really serve that customer, no matter where the customer is coming from. So they need to understand that even that customer is from Egypt or from LA or from Singapore. So they need to understand how to handle people. So it's not a, what's the previous job that's going to make a difference. It's who you really are.
So, okay, again, so back to the question. Who is Abeer Elsisi? Boom! Flipped it back on you. What's up? Back on the spotlight. So who is Abeer Elsisi before the whole professional thing? What let's say...
I'm in electrical engineering.
أصلاً باش مهندسة.
Yeah. So I'm an engineer. I
did not expect that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I was a very curious child, so I've always wanted to know how everything works. When I was younger, I didn't want to use like a phone or the AC or a radio until I knew how it actually worked. I'd like open things up and then put them together. My dad used to pay me to fix things at home, and it was a hobby, and I loved that.
So you've been an entrepreneur من زمان.
Yeah, it's just I like fixing things.
Okay.
And I started studying engineering because of the curiosity. I just wanted to know how things work.
طب why electrical? اشمعنى? How come?
Because it was fun. I don't like mechanical and
But isn't mechanical more how things work and electrical?
No,
It's like,
I liked more like it was more like because electrical you get part of it in communications engineers. So there's a lot of satellites and radios and channels and stuff like that. So it was interesting.
Okay, I feel officially dumb with a business administration degree.
And I graduated and then I worked in Dubai for a year.
Okay.
And then I got married and then moved to the States. And then it took me a while to be able to find a job there. And then I got bored. I didn't like working in engineering field.
Okay.
It was more of a curiosity thing.
Okay.
So I studied a lot of things separately. I did a lot of psychology, a lot of graphic design, a lot of web development, a lot of different random stuff. I worked at Subway for a little bit.
Ah, yeah.
So I did
like
a lot of
Subway.
different things.
Okay.
And it ended up, me and Kareem started the startup together, and it took us a few years there in the U.S., going back and forth to Egypt because we...
Was it E-Corp?
It was E-Group. It was a call
E-Group.
center. Yes.
Yeah. Wait, you were part of that?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. You've been on the journey, man.
Yeah,
man.
zaman.
Because I know your husband, like I told you, like I read that article in Business Today when I had just came to Egypt. I was like, who's this entrepreneur they're talking about?
So he does the business development. I was always part of the HR and the recruitment and the operations.
Okay, cool.
So we started that call center, and it took us, a few years in it, and it was amazing. It was a great journey.
Does it still exist?
It very small projects, but I'm not very involved in that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I met Omar, Kareem's brother. If you guys don't know, Omar is. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
So Omar is he's the big boss at Suit.com, aka Amazon Egypt, right now. Is it? I don't even know if it's called Amazon, but Suit.com. And I met him, and we hit it off. And he's like, "Hey, you want to work together?" I'm like, "Yeah, all right." And it's before you remember Odesi.
Yeah.
So I was involved in that. I designed one of his. I think I designed his logo or something. I forget.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah. I think I did his business cards. Something like I did something with Omar, and we've been best buds ever since. But he doesn't answer his phone anymore because he's busy.
He's busy.
No, I know he's
He
busy.
doesn't answer my
مش
calls
بلومه
either.
يعني بس I know like, and I met your husband after I met Omar, and I thought, oh, Omar was the older one, and he's like, I was like, you still do E-Group? And then he's like, yeah, it's bread and butter, bro. Like, and I was like, oh. And I read an article. He's like, yeah, my brother. I was like, oh, and then everything started to link together.
The connection, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm surprised. I didn't know that you were involved, obviously, because you married the guy that started it. So you've been in the Sahi family for quite some time, I believe. Okay.
Yes.
Talk to me about your struggle. Whatever it may be, it doesn't have to be like.
But wallahi, I think struggle is.
Keep talking, but I'm just gonna check the camera.
Okay. As I mentioned before, I don't think every part of your life there's a struggle somehow. You know what I mean? Struggle to get out of bed, struggle when you get to the office to get things done, push the meetings. There's always a struggle. So struggle in an entrepreneurship life, I think, just getting from having an idea.
Oh, I like this.
انك تنفذها. That jump is a big struggle. You have the idea and you see it and you believe it, and you want to make sure others believe it too. And it's just sometimes they're like, "What the hell are you talking about? What do you mean, Elves? And I chat with you and I don't pay you anything, and you do anything I want for free anywhere in the world." Everyone's like, "Oh, this is a dream and it's not going to happen." وهتفشل في تاني يوم.
Why do people do that? Why do you think? Because why?
Because they don't see what you see. I mean, and that's why you really got to push through. Not everyone's going to see your vision. That we're all built differently, and you believe in something that doesn't necessarily, and they're not wrong. You don't expect them to see what you see, but you need to prove them wrong. So it's a constant struggle of trying to push and proving them.
So let's go back to the whole question about like parents, Arab parents, and kind of because you said you moved to the States. I know that you have a sister, but being a daughter of an Arab parent or an Egyptian parent, how is that transition of kind of like explain it? Because I know that recently, actually الشهر اللي فات last month, my dad finally after 7 years he's like خلاص أنا بعترف إن أنا غلطان وأنت صح. I'm like, fucking finally, bro. Like, thank you, man.
إنه ما يبعتوك برا أو يعني معلش اشرح لي تاني.
I just, because we're talking about like everybody's wired different and they don't see your vision. So I'm talking about how my dad, it took him 7 years to see my vision. So how did your parents, being a daughter of Arab parents, and I'm sure your parents are more because you're a bit older than me, but so kind of like the same generation, but I'm sure your parents are even more taqlidi, more traditional.
Yeah.
So to travel and study abroad and live in a different country and stuff like that, or you're married before then?
No, بص هقول لك أنا my parents I was born and raised في دبي
Aslan, okay.
أصلا وبعدين so the struggle was my parents sending me to Cairo to study. I studied here in Egypt.
Aslan, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was a struggle to have my mom send me here to Egypt, and she was determined. So my mom wanted to send me anywhere to just get,
Okay. So,
زي كده وأبقى كويس. So my mom is more academic, so she's
Okay.
like pushing more and more. My dad
Sure.
was like يعني إيه البنات تقعد لوحدها ويعني
Right,
إيه and all that
that's
stuff.
my yeah.
And then so like I أنا العقلة اللي في العيال. So my sisters. So like
There's
I told
more
them,
than
we're three. Yeah.
You're three girls?
Yeah.
I'm with three boys.
واحدة أكبر وواحدة أصغر علا وسارة.
You're أكبر واحدة?
No, واحدة أكبر مني وواحدة أصغر مني.
You're the middle child?
I'm the middle child.
Middle
Yes,
child!
I know.
Right, all the way. I felt that's why that's why.
Connected, right?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
So yeah, so it was that. So I had to talk to my dad. I was like, you know what, ما تقلقش, everything's fine. So it was more of a trust kind of thing. And
Okay, but Sameshi, but what? Okay, so I get that. But what about like the further thing about I have this huge vision, and then
it took them a few
naysayers.
years, maybe last month or the month before. I think my dad went to Karim قال له أنا والله مش فاهم أنتوا لسه بتعملوا إيه.
So even
So
after
no, because it's like this all new technology that's taking place. It's just hard for them to understand what we actually do.
But okay, so I know as an entrepreneur that's the struggle that we have. And we have to please our parents طبعا عشان they say الجنة تحت رجل الأم, you know.
Yep.
The heaven is under your mom's foot, under her heel, and you have to like please your parents. Like it's a great metaphor because we have to please our parents.
But it's not about pleasing our parents. I think they just
Making
want to
them
see
proud.
they want to see you
secure.
successful ومبسوط.
Exactly.
بس. So if they see that هم هيرتاحوا.
Not مبسوط. Don't say that because my dad didn't care if I was like, don't you care? I'm happy.
They don't. No.
Like,
but they want to see you secure.
بالظبط.
I think if they feel that and they'll
بالظبط.
voice their concern, and they always will.
course.
So no matter how
طبعا.
old I've got, 2 kids now, and my mom calls me every day in the morning, every day بالليل.
كويس.
ما كلمتنيش,
Keep
ما
doing
نمتيش,
that.
صحيتي, اتغديتي, عملتي. I was like, هتسافري ازاي? I'm still, we're still their kids.
We're always going to be their kids.
بالظبط. That fear factor is always going to be there.
Do you have it as a mother? When you became a mother, you kind of understand where they came from?
Yes.
Boom. Okay, I can't say because I'm not a parent. I still think
I call my mom often. I was like, "Mama, أنا آسفة أنا عملت فيكي كده. I'm so sorry, mom."
Yes.
And there's a lot of times my mom would be sitting down watching me and my son argue about something, and she's got that huge smirk on her face. I was like, "Mommy, بتضحكي ليه?" She's like, "أنا مبسوطة فيكي قوي." My son comes to me up the other day. He's like, "Mom, I want a snake." I was like, "What?" I was like, "I want a snake pet." I was like, بس baby مش هينفع. My mom تضحك. She's like, على فكرة your mom had a snake, a frog, a chameleon, an iguana when she was younger. So yes, you can ask her for a snake. I was like, Mom, you're not helping.
you're not. Wow,
She's
so
like,
I had to get on the spot.
Yeah, she did.
Wow, I think
she's
that's
like, أنا
her.
مبسوطة فيكي. بيحصل فيكي كده دلوقتي.
I can imagine her one-upping you in front of your own kid, and then and you can't say anything because she's your mom.
I was like, yeah, I have to. I need to get a snake soon. It did not work.
Oh my God, this is fun. Are you having a good time? How is this for you?
It's fantastic.
Okay, so this question that I wrote, because I literally wrote these questions before I interviewed Omar Samra. Literally in the morning, I sat down. I was like, all right, what am I going to ask? Everyone asks about climbing mountains. I'm not going to ask. I did, obviously.
You did, huh?
Yeah. I was like, how's the mountain, bro?
How's the mountain, bro?
It's like fucking cold, man. Because I was like, did you take a selfie on the mountain? And I did. It was so, but he's super cool. Shout out to Omar Sabra. So, if you were to start all over again, would you do it? The whole journey?
Hell yeah.
Boom! I love it. The talk guys. I love it. Okay.
Definitely.
Next question. Next question, Your Honor. What advice would you give yourself, though? Like, if you had to start out with that knowledge of starting over, what advice would you give yourself?
I would just tell myself not to be scared.
I love that. I love that.
There's a lot of times where, you get scared and you hesitate and you decide not to. So I just, I feel like there might have been a few lost opportunities just because I was worried or scared of taking a bad decision or saying the wrong thing. And if I were to do it all over again, I just, want to give myself that little push. But I think that's something you learn.
It's part of growth. And I feel like all of us have to kind of like ناخد الألم, that is life, in order to get back up. Because there's so many times I've just like, I'm sick of losing. I want to quit. I'm done. And here in Egypt, because people don't understand stand-up comedy, like, إيه بتعمل إيه يعني بضحك إحنا هندفع لك فلوس ليه? Yeah, like we're gonna pay you money so you could make us laugh.
بس أقول لك حاجة, what makes everything settle down well is when you know that قرار, أنا صحيت أخذت القرار ده. I decided I want to be, I want to start up something and I want to do this, and I know there's going to be a crazy journey ahead.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to take that journey.
Yeah.
أنا ممكن عادي, أقول لا خلاص أنا مش حمل الكلام ده كله.
Yeah.
I can't handle the struggle and it's too stressful for me and it's taking a toll, and leave, and I'll find a very decent job somewhere else and well paid, and هكمل حياتي عادي. What I mean?
But isn't that feeling kind of like soul crushing? Because I never even.
It's not a crushing feeling. It's a decision, because there's no crushing. You're crushing من ناحية إيه?
Soul crushing.
Why is it soul crushing?
Because I can never, for me personally, أنا شخصيا, because when I graduated, I never wanted, like I've been an entrepreneur since I was 14. I learned Photoshop by myself. I used to charge people £1 to edit a photo, which in hindsight, I'm like, damn, I got ripped off. like 16-year-old me.
But
definitely.
It's a choice. Yeah. It's a choice, and there's nothing that's going to crush it. You know what I mean? Okay. So
I get that. Okay, so that's again for the faint-hearted, the misfits, as Steve Jobs said, the ones that are going to take the opportunity. So my question is, here it is. I'm going to throw it at you. Some psychologia, boom, some psychology for have you ever woken up and decided that it's not for you anymore? Like that one day that you had, you're like, I'm sick of this.
It's not just one day. It happens often, where you wake up and you're
God,
like,
I'm not crazy. Alhamdulillah.
When you wake up and you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? What did I do? What are these bad decisions that I took? Can I back up? I can't. And you know what? Again, it's a choice.
It's a choice, but
I choose اللي هو خلاص أنا قررت إن أنا عايزة أعمل كده, and I knew that there's going to be a lot of hurdles, فيلا بينا. It's just one of those days.
You just gave me goosebumps, because like, I'm very emotional, and
it happens. Anyone that tells you otherwise is might not be very honest, but it's true. I had that. As an entrepreneur, struggles, and he has those bad days, and he has the days when he sits in the car and in the garage and cries, and you know what
yes,
it does happen.
Fuck yes, I do that.
It happens. It's tough. But there are days when you're cracking up and you're having a blast, and you see some accomplishments, and you see the silver lining, and interviewing people, and I feel like there's a silver lining. And that's what gives us the push every day.
I mean, yeah, I guess it depends on the industry. Again, because comedy for me, it's very subjective. So not everybody finds me funny, apparently. And I'm like, no. And I have on my wall, as an entrepreneur, we like, there was one comedian he was talking about, and one of my comedians, or an open mic, he was talking about how Americans, they really have that motivation on point. They're like, it's very on point. It's like, you gotta get up. You think it's gonna be easy. You gotta be a beast until you know what a beast do. Like it's very like in your face. And it's true, because someone, they do value time, and I think you have that. You kind of have that mentality. برضو زيهم, because I grew up abroad, so I think we share that background of hustle. Like I didn't like for
hustle.
No, like because you kind of, it's engraved in you when you grow up there. And for me, I was an immigrant. I was the son of an immigrant, and I saw my dad hustle. My dad used to drive a cab in New York City, and he built himself up, left the States, making over $100,000 a year as a CPA, and in accounting, he reached the highest thing, and he had his own office.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I saw that struggle. I look up to him because I saw the guy struggle working 16 hours.
That's why he pushes you hard.
Exactly. Yeah, he does.
He's why if he struggles, he should be tough enough, to handle the journey.
Well, that's the thing, because I think that's the conversation that not many people are having, is the journey. It's about, we talk about, we celebrate people's successes, which is great, but how often do we talk about and that's why I wanted to do this podcast, Adeek Shoft, different struggles of the entrepreneur life, or the person themselves, who doesn't really talk about, because like I started recently doing this on social media. Like, it was a great gig, but the turnout, like yesterday, it was a great gig. I performed, it was awesome, but 11 people showed up. I'm just saying that's the kind of the struggle that we have to constantly deal with, whether it's being constantly on the line. And that's why I want to talk about the struggle. That's why I asked you about the struggle. Like, at what point do you find it that, khalas, I've had enough, I need a break. لازم أفصل تماما. I need to wind down, go back to neutral so I can power up again.
Yeah. That sometimes is not a bad idea.
And how often do you find yourself needing to do that? Because like
Because I never wanted to take some time off. يعني أنا بالنسبة لي
time is money. أمريكانية والله.
بالذات أنا tech. يعني maybe it's different industries. With tech لازم تجري بسرعة.
Of course, yeah. Because someone's
I
gonna
sleep, I wake up, there's a new app, there's a new technology, something happened, and I need to be always on top of things. And يعني I mentioned this قبل كده برضو.
Yeah.
Having good partners, نشيل بعض at downtimes, that's invaluable. Honestly, what I do at Elves, I can't do it if it wasn't for Kareem. I can do it if it was my other partners, Delilah, Asim, Mukan, Zuhairi. These are all my partners, and بنشيل بعض بطريقة we never realize it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's fantastic to have someone يشيل منك شوية.
All right, so I have other questions, but I love what you said that because regarding partnership, because it's very hard finding co-founders. I don't have a co-founder.
I know. So the industries are different, and
exactly.
it's the tricky part.
But here's my question. It's a very good question, actually. So, it's a two-part question.
Okay.
First one: how do you trust and choose the partner? In your case, it's your husband.
Yeah.
So. That's the second.
We have to choose other partners.
I know, I get that, but the second question. So the second question is built on the first question, choosing your partner. And I didn't have a choice because it's your husband. He's already in the business. You kind of like, let's have everything together.
Everything. It's true. We say that. We co-founded a company and 2 kids. So that's what we did.
So what's the question that I'm asking is that, what's it like to be a partner with your husband? Like that daily grind.
That's a good
in
question.
your face because he's the father of your kids.
Yeah.
And at the same time,
there's no escaping.
And you can't say I didn't do the TPS report today.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's got its ups and downs. The pros outweigh the cons. I'll just say that. Yeah. They're pros and cons. The pros are, and we understand each other. So when we have a really, really bad day at work, and we go home, وكل واحد يقعد ولا TV. And we're not even talking, not mad at each other, but mad at something at work. I understand what he's going through, and he understands what I'm going through.
Sure.
And I keep imagining if I had that bad day at work and I go home to a husband that works in a different place, and his expectations from me is to just carry on with my, wife roles. He doesn't understand what I'm going through. We have like meetings or investors or pitches or travel plans. فاهمين بعض, so it's easy, بنشيل بعض. Kareem, I have this really important thing, you need to handle the kids, or other way around, and I'm safe, you need to be with the kids. So بنشيل بعض كتير, and that makes life easier.
Okay, so again, but how do you separate like personal from like? How
do we separate? We actually put a lot of effort into doing that. We try to not go to work together. يعني أنا بنزل وهو بينزل بعدية. I go to work usually at 7:30 in the morning. He comes in a little after that. بحاول هو ممكن نروح مع بعض because بنخلص مع بعض. في الشغل we very different places. هو في أوضة بعيدة عني وأنا في مكان تاني. And when we have meetings, we have in a meeting room. So it's like when we got into the office and like we don't have the husband-wife relationship there.
No, but again, how do okay, so. Let's just for the sake of the audience and for my curiosity, because I believe that spouses should share everything. Because I believe in internal love. I do. I believe in love. It's cheesy, but I love it.
لا وفي أيام بنتخانق في المكتب and then people start backing up from the door and I was like, you stay here. If you leave, it's gonna be خناقة جوز ومراته. If you stay here, it's gonna be a partner discussion.
So again, like how huge, like the scenario is, let's say a huge boo-boo from either party happened and it's just...
It has to be a mental effort. It happens. There's a lot of times where we disagree on things at work and I go home and I'm mad at him.
Yeah, بس مش بتقفشوا على بعض.
لا, it's not right. It's not, it takes practice to do it, but it's not right. And then he's like, let's talk about it again tomorrow في المكتب. لا, نتخانق عليها في المكتب.
Okay, so
as long as I go home and we don't talk about work خالص, وننام نصحى نروح الشغل, and then we can continue the fight there at the office.
And it's never carried on past like once we enter our castle.
We try. في أيام بتفشل وطبعا and all that crazy stuff happens at home, and he's like, بنتي هدي. But it happens, and you just constantly try to really work on it.
I love that. God bless. Okay. Do you feel like you made it?
Made it? What is it?
It. Just
What is it?
It. Come on. You know it.
No, what is it?
What do
Made
you
it
mean?
where? Made it, you know.
Okay, like, can I just address the elephant in the room?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you talked
There's no
about...
it. There's no it's. If you're talking about, if you think you've succeeded so far, the person is greedy by nature. So if you put yourself a goal and you reach it, you're like, okay, so I'm going to push another goal. So you're constantly going after something a little further than you want, So it's more like a mirage. It becomes more of a mirage for you. So yeah, I'm very happy with the current situation I'm in.
Sure.
With the current effort that I'm putting in.
Okay.
And yes, I want more.
Okay.
And there could be more, and there will be more.
Inshallah.
And inshallah. And it's just ambition.
Okay, but again, like for me, for example, like at least I felt, but that's an illusion that we put in our minds, convincing ourselves that we're actually made it, because we always, as an entrepreneur, we were always waiting for that big deal to strike, or that for me personally, it was Comedy Central. I felt, I cried, like, again, men cry, guys cry in the shower where no one sees me, because can't be weak, guys. I'm just joking. Crying is strength. Mohem, is important for me. Like I said, that break, or I felt like I made it when I got that phone call. I thought it was a spam email, and because it's literally said, all those spam emails that come through, and it was like Comedy Central _first content. I was like, this is bullshit.
Okay.
No way. I'm like, no way. And then, and there was no signature. I was like, yeah, definitely. But there's a phone number. And I was like, Mom, because I don't have credit. I'm a struggling entrepreneur. I'm not going to call international, right? And I called, and then all I heard was like, hey, we're here. I was like, we're here. And then light bulb clicks, and I'm like, we're here. Gasp, and then I was like, hold on one second. Yes!
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's when I felt I made it. And then after I had the opportunity, alhamdulillah, to film the TV show 2 years ago, and it was surreal, and being flown out to Dubai, having them hold out a sign with your name on it that says Comedy Central underneath. It's kind of like, it's like a movie, that's how I experience life. I think about it like a movie that, that في خيالي, in my imagination. And that's the moment that I'm asking about, because for me, for example, or anyone else that knows you guys would imagine that when you made a quote unquote is when you were announced that, mashallah, you got the $2 million seed funding. It's the that funding that no one else had.
No, that was the scariest moment.
Because of hasad, because you believe in hasad?
No. It's because now
hasad is envy, guys.
Now it's actually happening, and you've got a huge responsibility, and you have to be
accountable for that money.
Accountable, and you have to really plan everything. So it's not.
ما فيش هزار.
So now it's even scarier than before. So every time we get any funding, it's just like, okay, let's make sure it's well planned, we're organized. محتاجين الدنيا تبقى ماشية مظبوط.
But you didn't feel like you made. But I mean, I'm sure you felt.
No, when I make it, if I made it, أنا بالنسبة لي, I'm a very customer centric person. So to me, every time a customer writes an online review, a good online review about Elves, that to me, I made it. So it's, you know what I mean? That. So this to me...
I get that feeling, because I ask my audience as well how they feel after the show.
It's that constant feedback, because a lot of things can go wrong, and a lot of things can go right, but a few people would actually take the time to tell you that you've done things right. So that's the part where it's just give me reassurance. لا أنا بعمل حاجة صح, and everyone's doing a great job, and that's the part where I feel, okay, now we're doing it.
This is a very interesting question, because it's subjective. It's very subjective. So prepare your subjective mind. What defines happiness for you? What's happiness for Abeer Elsisi?
Happiness is a choice. Love that.
That's fucking gold. That's gold. I love it.
It's not a definition of something. It's a choice. You wake up today and you choose, صحية العربية, the tire's flat, my kid's sick, I have a meeting, I'm going to be late. I could be miserable, but you know what?
I'm happy.
I'll put my kid in the cab with me. I'll call an Uber and I'll go to a meeting. I choose to be happy. I'll make things work. It's a choice, and I choose happiness all the time over anything else. So,
wow,
it's a choice. Yeah,
that's a very good answer. I think there we have it. Okay, because that was a very quick answer. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm gonna. So, what's your biggest fear?
Failure.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. I know you have to go, but every entrepreneur has that fear of failure.
Of course.
But isn't, and like I said, the hardcore American entrepreneurs and the motivation and all that stuff, they always talk about you gotta be comfortable with this being uncomfortable, and
I know.
be having that fear of failure is only what stops you from being a success.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So, what describe like that fear, like failure as an entrepreneur, failure as a parent, failure as a, or in general,
في أي حاجة, and you know, working on all these aspects. So as a mom, as a wife, as an entrepreneur, يعني طبعا that fear factor is always there.
Sure.
You know, and it doesn't stop me from doing things. بالعكس. You know, it's just, it gives me that push, it gives me that courage. You know, لا اعملي كده أكتر. So that's more of a drive. It's like someone running behind you with a match. You know, it's like لا اجري أكتر. So to me, it's more of a motivational kind of fear.
A motivational type of fear. Interesting. So no, because like I said, many entrepreneurs, they struggle with mental issues of, or mental instability of, like, khalas, they've had it, like they've been in the rut for so long that, and okay, so here's my question. Because those entrepreneurs, some of them quit, and they tell you that 99 or 95% of all small businesses that start, they fail. Is that because of the sheer will, in your opinion, of the entrepreneur, of just like, have you seen that picture of the two pictures فوق بعض, and there's diamonds in the end, and there's الاتنين بيحفروا, and they're both digging towards the diamonds, and one of them is so close, and he dips, he leaves when he was very close, and then the other guy, he keeps بيحفر, and he reached the diamonds. So that analogy is very interesting, because do you feel like entrepreneurs, because of the mental challenges and all that they have to go through, and kind of like trying and failing,
yeah.
The question is, what's it called? What's the question? Yeah.
If that failure is the motivation.
Yeah,
behind,
do you feel that that's why most entrepreneurs quit? Khalas, they've tried so many times and they were so close, and that's
No, I think it's just determination. Sometimes it's just being determined, and maybe it's a bad idea. Why shrug that off? You know, failure could be because it was just simply a bad idea. It's not wrong to have a bad idea and to believe in it for so long until you're actually convinced that it's a bad idea, and then you got to stop. It's okay to do so. It's not مش غلط.
Okay, so again, where's that fine line between knowing that it's a bad idea and believing in your heart that it's not?
Have good mentors. Talk to people around you. You know what I mean?
Like
because if you sit in a bubble on your own, you're just gonna keep floating مع نفسك. You know, but if you have someone that you trust that can ground you and tell you this is a horrible idea, you could tweak it and do this and that, and you know his intention is, you know, your best interest.
Okay.
And if just have that, you know, that person, that whether it's a mentor or parents or a friend or someone that can just guide you and be honest and tell you, لا صوتك مثلا وحش وانت بتغني عادي, you know, it could be harsh. And
don't take it personal.
It could be harsh, but you have to really just, you know, settle it down and
that's very good advice, because I was gonna ask you what advice would you give people as an entrepreneur, but you kind of just nailed it. You just nailed it. Well, anything else you want to shout out? What's next for you guys, except expanding abroad? Is that something you want to talk?
Yeah, we're in the process. So Kareem's been in LA for a while now. We opened our offices in Los Angeles. We're doing our own online travel agency. So on Elves, you could just go in and just go through buying your tickets. So we're going to be like your travel buddy wherever you go.
Okay. Are you going head to head with Booking.com? Because that's
no, we're not going. We're very different than Booking.com. We are. So Booking.com, you can't chat with someone and tell them, please change my ticket, because, you know, I'm having so much fun. Yeah. So if you buy tickets through Elves, you have someone that takes care of you, miles, your hotels,
that's a lot of logistics.
Bookings and transportation and dinners. So Elves can do that for you just if you buy a ticket through us. Okay,
last question before we go. Sure. How many elves do you dream of hiring? That's the question I think everyone.
The question is, it's not a question actually. How many elves do I want to hire?
Yeah, how many elves do you want to have? If you're Santa Claus.
Elves is going to, like, my end goal is to have elves like some sort of the Uber model, where elves could be global. You can have elves anywhere. It could be elves in Turkey, it could be
in the local
Dubai,
language and stuff.
any country that we service. I'd want to have a few elves there. We're doing online training and online onboarding platforms where it can work there. They'll be, paid hourly or on a commission. That's the process. I don't know the logistics yet, but that's my end game. So anyone could be an elf.
That's like India. India has a bunch of these models where people can do anything for you and they get back to you, but they have focus more on like professional services, like the professional MBAs. They're like, we'll get your
I don't know these.
Check out getfriday.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will.
And you can call them and they can be like, yes, sir, we will help you today and stuff like that. Yeah.
Because it's all chat based, so you don't really need to, worry about phone calls or accents or anything. And that the elf in like Turkey can chat with you in Turkish if you need to.
Aslan, okay.
So it'll be very localized.
That's fun. That's awesome. Good luck. Best of luck and everything.
You.
Wishing you guys always the best. So proud of you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. And thank you for coming here and just giving us your insight in your busy life.
Thank you.
There you guys have it. Abeer Elsisi, the one, the only co-founder of Elves. Inshallah, episode 2 of Adeek Shoft. Abeer Elsisi, where can they find you? Online, like if you want to shout out where. You're not on the gram or Twitter or.
No, just hop on Elves and tell them I need to get in touch with Abeer.
Guys, don't do that because she's very busy. She made time for this, so I'm very grateful. So yeah, Elves Gama, it's the next global thing, inshallah. Best of luck. Thank you so much. Yalla.